Namaskar, warm greetings from DELNET Developing Library Network, New Delhi and World Skills Center, Bhubaneswar, Orissa, India. The most esteemed speaker, Dr. Subhanga Kishore Das, the Principal World Skills Center, Bhubaneswar, Orissa. The officials at WSC, including Mr. Niranjan Mahapatra, Manager LRC, faculty members, other administrative officials, students at World Skills Center, DELNET officials, Shri K. Jayakumar, President, Dr. S.S. President, Dr. P.R. Goswami, Treasurer, the heads of institutions, deans, eminent librarians, library and information science professionals, heads of departments, IT computer science professionals, IQAC heads, industry experts, trainers, faculty, researchers, scholars, and students. My colleagues here at DELNET New Delhi head office at New Delhi and also its state offices at Bangalore, Lucknow, Pune, and Vadodara, ladies and gentlemen. I, Dr. Sangeeta Kaul, Director DELNET, on behalf of DELNET and also World Skills Center, takes profound pleasure in welcoming you all to today's webinar session being organized collaboratively by DELNET and also the World Skills Center, Bhubaneswar, Orissa, to celebrate World Youth Skills Day, which is being celebrated every year on July 15th. July 15th. And today we are going to hold a webinar session on the topic, Learning to Learn, Shaping Skills Beyond Classrooms, which will shortly be delivered by Dr. Subhanga Kishore Das, the principal at the most prestigious World Skills Center, Bhubaneswar. At the very outset, we would like to wish you all a very highly inspiring and an empowering World Youth Skills Day. I would like to apprise you all that in 2014, the United Nations General Assembly declared July 15 as a World Youth Skills Day to celebrate the strategic importance of equipping young people with the skills for employment, decent work, and also entrepreneurship. On behalf of DELNET, we would like to express our sincere gratitude and thanks to the World Skills Center Bhubaneswar for collaborating with DELNET to organize today's webinar session to celebrate the World Youth Skills Day. It's an immense pleasure to inform you all that it is the second consecutive year in which we are holding and we are celebrating together the World Youth Skills Day. And this reminds us of the last year on the same very day that we had collaborated with the World Skills Center in organizing the session. We are indeed much grateful to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Subhanga Kishore Das, the principal at the WSC, for his very gracious consent in agreeing to deliver today's talk. And I must also say, that in spite of being extremely busy today, because as we all are fully being aware about the tremendous work being undertaken by World Skills Center, and today being the day highly being dedicated and devoted, to the cause for skill empowerment, Dr. Das has been able to accommodate the request in being there. And this is also to tell that, yes, the session was scheduled for 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but yes, because of the urgent engagement, the government engagement that Dr. Das has today later in the afternoon, we had to prepone it at 11 o'clock as we are all into the midst of the session now. So we are much grateful to each one of you for being here with us on this platform today and as we celebrate the World Youth Skills Day. It's an immense honor and pleasure once again to welcome our distinguished speaker, Dr. Subhanga Kishore Das, and we have a pleasure now to introduce him to all our attendees. It's a pleasure to inform you that Dr. Das is an academic leader and a technocrat in the field of technical and vocational education in Orissa. He's currently serving as a principal of the World Skills Center, Bhubaneswar, an advanced skill technical institution in the state established in collaboration with ITEES Singapore. With extensive experience in engineering education, institutional administration, and skill development, Dr. Das has played an instrumental role in strengthening technical education and training systems in Orissa. Earlier in his career, Dr. Das served as a senior lecturer in computer science and engineering, contributing to the academic content development and e-learning initiatives such as EduSat-based study materials for diploma engineering students. Dr. Das also served as a principal of the government ITI and elevated it to be placed as number 11 ITI in the country, which is much praiseworthy. Dr. Das has been associated with the skill development initiatives of the government of Orissa, including leadership roles in the programs linked with the World Skills Center Bhubaneswar, wherein he contributed in promoting industry-relevant training and youth's employability. He is one of the most founding contributors for the establishment of the World Skills Center Bhubaneswar, which is one of its kind in the country, providing advanced industry-oriented skill training. Known for his focus on industry linkage, innovation in teaching learning processes, and skill oriented education, Dr. Das advocates strengthening technical institutions through digital pedagogy, industry collaboration, and outcome based education. Dr. Das continues to support the development of a skilled workforce aligned with the needs of modern industry and the broader vision of skill led economic growth in India, and immensely contributing to the entire country growth as well. It's an immense honor and pleasure. Once again, a very hearty welcome to you, Dr. Das. Thank you so very much for acceding to our request. It's a profound honor and pleasure for DELNET now to request you to kindly commence the session and to deliver the invited talk. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam, for providing me this opportunity to address such a light gathering on this auspicious day of World Youth Skill Day. So, can I share my PPT?
Oh, yeah, so just doing that, sir. Just doing that, yeah. So you can just kind of say.
So, is my PPT visible?
So it's visible, so can we put it onto the presentation mode?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yeah, this is perfect, sir. This is very perfect. Over to you, sir, please.
Okay. So, again, a very good morning to all of you. Uh, and my pleasure to deliver a talk on this very important topic, that is learning to learn, and which will ultimately result in shaping skills beyond the classrooms. So this is a very hot topic as on today's context, because we are living in a world which is evolving every day, which is changing every day. So unless we adapt to this changing world, so we'll be left in the race and will be behind in the race. So this is a very apt topic that has been selected on this occasion of World Youth Skill Day, and I'll be delivering a few. I'll be having few insights on the intricacies of this topic. So as we go forward, so the first question is why? Why a continuous learning? Now, before going to the why, let me tell you the significance of World Youth Skill Day. So World Youth Skill Day is being celebrated from 2014 onwards on the July 15th, just to commemorate that skill is important for the society. Now, for every aspect of our day-to-day life, we need a skilled workforce. We need a plumber to fix our pipes. We need an electrician to uh, get our lights and fans. We need a AC technician to remain in an air-conditioned environment. So, talk of any aspect of life, we need a skilled technician to provide that and to maintain that. So that is why skills is very important from the societal perspective. Now, why this continuous learning is important and why we are picking it up on this particular occasion. Now, when we introspect last 10 years progress, we can very well see that how the technology is moving forward, and it is moving forward to a next level in almost every year. So the technicians that we produced in 2014 or 15 are not relevant in terms of technology acquired by them during that period. So that is why we need to have a continuous learning attitude among our skilled workforce. So, for example, the changing world now, we are rapidly going towards AI, towards green transitions, and the social complexities are rapidly transforming how to work. People are saying that the AI will take away the jobs of the skilled workforce. So there are many myths which are spreading in the society. Now, we need to, as the stakeholders of the skilled workforce, we need to understand how we remain relevant in this current society and in this changing technological environment. So the first thing is the skills has to go beyond the classroom, because classroom is okay. They get some knowledge in the classroom, they get a bit of hands-on in the classroom, but skills on which they actually are supposed to perform is much beyond that. So for that, we have to keep this in mind that we have transitioning from a traditional degree to a holistic, future ready, adaptable, skilled professional. So that is why the 2026 theme for World Youth Skill Day is skills for a shared future, leading with empathy, resilience, and sustainability. So that is how we should justify why we need a continuous learning attitude among the blue collared job technicians. So next question is who will be a part of this? So if we consider the demographic dividend of the India, so in fact we are in the golden age of the Indian society, where we call the generation as Amrit Pidhi, where we have got 65 of Indian populations who are now under the age of 35. The average Indian population age is 29.8, and the share of working age population, which is between 15 to 64, is 68.4 percentage, and that is the highest ever in any country throughout the globe. So that is how we have positioned ourselves, and we need to empower this young youth population so that we take a dividend of this. Otherwise, there will not be dividend in the Indian perspective, and we need to equip them with this particular skills. Now, naturally, when we compare between countries, when we talk of Indian context, we naturally compare with our neighbor China, because population-wise, they are almost similar to us. We have now surpassed them. So here in Indian, the median age is 29.8, whereas now in China, the median age has become 41.1. Similarly, the youth bulge, that is 15 to 29, is 26%, whereas that is in 17%. And here the best part is this trajectory is growing, whereas it is declining in case of China. And that I'm sure in every other countries, the China model is existing. The median is rising, the youth bulge is decreasing, and the trajectory is declining. So that is where we place India as the next leader in the global perspective. And in 2041, it is predicted that the maximum demographic dividend will be drawn by the Indian through these youth bulge. Now, as I have already said, that now we call our youth as the Amrit Pidi because they are the makers of Viksit Bharat 2047. And in the past, the scenario was the youth were the passive beneficiaries of all the state welfare schemes launched by the government. But now they are in the forefront, and the policy anchor is the National Youth Policy Framework prioritize the future ready skills, leaderships, and digital participation. And now AI has been added to that. So that is how, from the topmost level of the country, from the topmost office of the country, led by our Honorable Prime Minister, the focus is on the youth populations. Now this is the learning evolution table. So I'll just compare the old paradigm. I'm in this field since last 30 years, teaching at various levels, providing skills training. Now in old days, that learning was a teacher-centric learning. Now if you see traditionally, uh, during the Vedas period, the student has to travel to the uh, teacher. They have to stay with the teacher. The life was very painful, and they will learn. So that is why the learning was not readily available to the students, and it was available to only few students who could afford to go through that process. So that was known as the teacher centric learning. Now it subsequently it shifted to a medium part, where the teacher and the student, they come to a particular center which we call as the institutions, and the teaching learning process happened there. Till that period also the learning was a teacher centric learning, because if the teacher doesn't come to the class is vacant and that learning doesn't happen. And it was a 10-year based, for 1 year, for 5 years, or for 4 years, like that. And it was front loaded with static degrees, classroom bounded constraints, and passive information absorption. So these were the old paradigm of teacher centric learning. Now we have shifted to a new paradigm which is called learner centric learning. Now the student can sit before a laptop or even in a smartphone and learn as per his or her availability of time. Now we see that the students learn at midnight. So prior to this, we could not think of having a learning thing happening beyond the evening. So that is how we are evolving in the learning process also. Now here the primary value is the skill currency, and lifelong continuous adaptability has to be there. And we are now dependent on the phygital and experiential environment for learning. And we now encourage independent, proactive, knowledge seeking students. Now, the synthesis is, in an AI driven era, the most valuable skill is not what you already know, but your capacity to adapt, unlearn, and relearn. So, the students who adapt to this particular concept quickly will be at the forefront. The mindset matrix now has to change. Now, the mindset matrix has to change to learn process. It is happening as a part of the new generation, but still then we as the stakeholders has got a responsibility to communicate this to the young learners and the youth of our country. So the first thing of a continuous learning is you have to stay curious to everything. So that is the inner thing, the crux of the matter, that the student has to stay curious, and then only he can be an adaptive learner. And he has to have different capabilities like critical thinking, independent seeking of the learning materials. Then frequently what happens in the young generation, with the young generation, is once they face a failure, they break their learning journey there. So that should not happen. Actually, the failure should be taken as a feedback for the learning process, and it need to be rectified, and the learning should continue, and which will ultimately culminate as a lifelong learning process. Now, as I've already said, that a smartphone connected to a internet has now become the world's largest classroom for learning. And thanks to the development of the information technology and communication technology, that now our students are equipped with all the resources, and in that telnet is one of them. Now, from the youth India, young India, these are the 5 commitments is expected to keep them in on the track of continuous learning. First thing, as I've already said, that you have to stay curious, never stop asking questions. Nobody now, when I say asking questions, means that you did not ask question to somebody. You can ask questions on a smartphone and you'll get the answer. So that is how the learning process happens. Then first thing, and second thing is you have to inculcate a habit of learn every day, because knowledge is like ocean and we have got only a drop of that. Now if we can devote 30 minutes of our time every day to a focused learning, that will transform our learning our career as a student, as a executive, or as for that matter in any field. Similarly, third thing is we have to again inculcate the habit of learn by doing, because we have statistically seen that the same concept if you read from book will take say 10 hours to grasp, and if you do it, it will be done by 1 year, 1 hour. So practical experiences teach us more than theory and quickly, and it remains in our brain throughout. So that's why we should develop a habit of learning by doing. And fourth thing is accept failure. So as I have already said that the students, they leave the learning process in between if they face a failure. Failure is basically a part of life. So we need to learn from our failure, and in the subsequent steps, we need to implement that and see that we go towards the success. And fifth thing is sharing of knowledge. Now, I'll say that there is a myth that there is a class of 40 or 50 students where there is a student who is very intelligent. Now, if uh, he thinks that if he pass the knowledge to someone else, then he will be a competitor and he will be topping in top. He'll be topper in the class. But that is not actually happens. Actually, sharing of knowledge increases the knowledge of the person who is sharing at the top level. So please go beyond this myth and discuss the knowledge with the peer group, with some other group, so that the sharing of knowledge will happen and your knowledge will ultimately be increased. So these are the 5 habits which will internally drive your self-learning attitude. First is curiosity. I'm reiterating this word again and again because that is the drive force of continuous learning. Unless you are curious, you will not be in the continuous learning process. So be curious. Then experimental focus. You have to you have to see things critically. Something, if you face something in a learning process, you have to think 10 angles of that and find out which is one of the best. So that is called experimental focus. Then independent seeking. So when you are in a learning process, mostly you try to independently seek knowledge. Of course, once you have a base of knowledge in that particular domain, you can share it, we can discuss with a peer group or any other group, and it will increase. But the sorry for I've got cold. Um, then failure as a feedback, you have to embrace that. You have to take feedback positively, and you have to learn from that failure. And as I have said, make a habit of daily learning so that you will be in a routine of continuous learning. As I have said already, there are also some external actions which will enable you for this continuous learning process. One is, of course, knowledge sharing. You externally share the knowledge to a group, to a peer group, or to a non-peer group also. So that will increase your own knowledge. You build a digital portfolio, and that digital portfolio should be evolving. That means that digital portfolio that you build today should not be the same maybe 6 months after this. Then critical thinking attitude, life learning attitude, and proactive digital use. See, time and again I'm saying that we are now empowered with a infinite classroom or infinite repository of knowledge. How? Through a smartphone connected to a internet. So we should take advantage of that. So we should be proactive in using those digital devices. Sorry. Now I've covered uh, how, what, and who. Now there is a catalyst to this movement. Now I have been this in teaching profession since last 35 years. I have been shaping the futures of many young students. But the way that I was doing in 30 years ago is not the same that I am doing now. Why? Because the metamorphosis of our education have changed. In the past role was we just provided static informations, and mostly it is from a textbook. But now the role has changed to a mentor, a facilitator, and a career guide. Now, for this is a very critical role for as a teacher or as a trainer. Why? Because as a mentor, we need to be empowered with the knowledge of what is happening, where, how will guide or how will facilitate the students for continuous learning, for advanced learning, for the advanced technology, all these things. So that is how the role of an educator has become more critical in today's perspective of continuous learning. It happens sometimes that in some domain, particular domain, the student knows more than the teacher, because some teachers are not so digital savvy, where the students are digital savvy. So that is why, as teachers, we first thing we need to have is we have to be very agile on the digital devices and digital systems and on internet, so that we acquire the knowledge and we translate the or transmit the knowledge to the prospective students. So here our responsibility is not only to teach the students what to think, but more importantly, how to think. So that is the now new metamorphosis of an educator. So India as a country has realized that skills is very important from the nation's perspective. And to achieve that trillion economy, we need to have a very good blue collar workforce in the country who will be taking India to the top level in the globe, as well as they will also be the serving force in different other countries. Because as I have already given a comparison of demography of different countries, where the young population is now reducing. So the days will be not far when every technician, every skilled workforce in different parts of the globe will be from India. So realizing that, we have in India, under the able leadership of our Prime Minister, have developed a very systematic ecosystem for enhancing the skill of the Indian youths. So it starts with the school foundations, where with the implementation of NEP 2020, the exponential multidisciplinary skills are being imparted at the school level. So at the very early level, the teacher identifies that this kid is good in this particular skill. So he or she might have a career in this particular skill. Now the second level is a ITI or a polytechnic, where a career course is being given, where the student pursue a career course which comprises of almost 50-50% knowledge and skills. So there, it's a 2 year or 3 year course. Now beyond that, we have got different advanced skill training centers like World Skill Center, like Skill Development Center of India, like CTTC. So these are all advanced skill centers where the skills have been aligned to the industry requirement. Now beyond that, we are having digital platforms like Seed Portal or Soar Portal, where self-learning can happen in a digital mode. And finally, the application, where the students will be applying the skills that they learn. So they have to face a industry like environment. So that is through the Prime Minister's internship scheme or national apprenticeship portals. So this is a multi-layered ecosystem where the students are being shifted from traditional training to demand-driven industry-linked models. So that is how now the system is existing. Now we as the stakeholder has to educate all the youth to adopt a suitable path as per their aptitude. Now, as I've been continuously saying that we are now empowered with a infinite classroom or infinite learning hub. So that is a smartphone connected to a internet. Now, if you only give a smartphone with internet, the students will not be in a position to find out how to use it and where to find. So for that, there are different portals, different systems. As far as government of India is concerned, we have got a Skill India Digital Hub, which is the central nervous system for unified skilling training. Similarly, there's a portal called Diksha, a portal called Swayam, then PM eVidya. So all these portals actually facilitate the students to select a particular skill and learn about that. Now we as educators has to disseminate this knowledge to the students so that they can take the benefit of these facilities that is created by government of India. But beyond that, there are many private players who are having such kind of learning portals through which self learning can happen. So that is again the curiosity will take the students to that particular portal, and they'll find out a suitable course as per their uh, requirement, and they can pursue that. So that is how the continuous learning will happen. So why I'm focusing on these three portals is these are very extensive portals which provides the digital learning to the students, potential students. So first is a Skill India Digital Portal, a Skill India Digital Hub, which is a unified TPI for skilling, employment, and entrepreneurship. So it has got 1,000 plus courses in 23 different Indian languages. So that is a very unique, you can say unique selling point of this particular portal, where the student can learn in his or her language also. Second portal is a Swayam. So that this is a massive open online course platform offering around 18,500 plus courses with an incredible 6.1 crore enrollments. So that says that now our youth have already realized that the continuous learning has to happen, and they are taking advantage of such portals which is being launched by Government of India. Third portal is a Diksha portal, which is a national platform for school educations. Again, hosting around 3.66 lakh e-content resources across 135 languages. So these digital platforms actually transform the formal education into a continuous, borderless learning ecosystem, which is a student or learner-centric learning environment where the students are learning at their own pace, at their own suitable time, and at their own convenience. So that is how the learning has been shifted to teacher centric to learner centric. One of the key advantages or a key evolutions of government of India is the PMKVY scheme, which has evolved from 1.0 to 4.0 now. Now here the objective is the alignment with the industry. So suppose a student does his or her ITI or diploma or finishes any skill training. Now there is a short gap as far as the industry requirement is concerned. That short gap is being filled by these PMKFY schemes, where the student learns for uh, uh, 3 to 5 months of courses which are nationally recognized as per the National Skills Qualification Framework, and gets a certificate and learns which fits him or her to the respective industries. So this is a very key scheme where the continuous learning can happen. And in most of the courses, there is no age bar at all. So it has got a very scale and a reach to every look and corner of the country, because there is a network of the PMKY centers which goes to the down to the panchayat level where these trainings happens. And third thing is the NAPS portal, or the apprenticeship portal, where over 54 lakh apprenticeships were engaged with direct industries and earn while learn. So the concept is earn while learn and stipend support. Basically, every industry requires a skilled workforce, but they don't have time to train a lot in their own industries. So what they do is they take a chunk of the skilled workforce and they allow them in their industries as apprenticeships. And these apprenticeships learn from the other employees of the industry and ultimately get absorbed there. So that is how the skilled workforce get aligned to the actual requirement of the industries. So this is a rough statistics of the backbone, because as I have already said, the skills training, the backbone is basically the ITIs, where the students learn the skills of different domain areas, and it's normally a 2-year course. So if you see the statistics from 2014, the ITIs were normally 9,977, and in 2025 it is 14,600. So there's a shift, there's an increase in the ITIs. Similarly, there are national skills training institutes which again evolved from 25 to 33. Then the ITA enrollment increased from 9.5 to 14.7. And there are ITOTs also, which actually the training of the trainer happens for the skilled trainers. So that again increased from 11 to 120. Now recently, Honorable Prime Minister have launched the PM Setu scheme, where uh, there will be a hub ITI and there will be some spoke ITIs. The hub ITIs will be actually having all the next gen skills, and the spoke ITI students will be using, trainers and students will be using the facilities at the hub ITI. In fact, World Skill Center was envisaged as one of these hubs in this concept, where it is supposed to uh, cater to the ITIs and polytechnics around the state. And in fact, we are doing that in different relevant courses. So basically, a very good amount has been earmarked for this purpose, around 60,000 crores, where 1,000 government ITIs will be in hub and spoke model, and there will be establishment of SPVs, which is special purpose vehicles with anchor industry partners. So the idea is we have to produce the students with skills which is required by the industry. So unless we have a stake of the industry in the institute, this is a very difficult proposition. So that is why this SPVs are introduced, where industries are now establishing or mentoring some ITAs and becoming the anchor industry partner. And similarly, 5 NSTIs will be upgraded to the global centers of excellence. So that is where repeatedly I'm saying that government of India is having ample focus on the skills training, but it is again up to the training, up to the students, how he or she accept this. Now this is a sugar on the ice. Actually, earlier what we used to do is, whatever training we are providing or whatever internship we are apprenticeship we are doing, it was happening in the campus or the university. Now there is a scheme called Prime Minister's Internship Scheme. Now here, passing out of any course, like somebody has done uh, a normal graduation course also, he or she has also got a opportunity to become an internship in an industry, which was launched in 2024, and it is a structured paid opportunity because in the Indian context, what we see as often students break their learning journey because of requirement of funds. Majorly, they are from the weaker section of the society, and their parent want them to earn as quick as possible. So that actually restricts them to learn further. But now with this scheme, once they complete a graduation or once they complete plus two also, they can do an internship and they can get a stipend during that period also, which will not stop them to learn further because their daily livelihood is being taken care of by this stipend, and they'll be certified for this also. Yes, this is a very key aspect which I wanted to focus on this forum. See, if you see the society of India as a country, it is almost 50-50%, 50% male and 50% female. So if we are not empowering our women, then we are ignoring the 50% of our population, which is not acceptable at any moment. So that is why the leaders have thought very genuinely and come up with many schemes which actually encourages women to be a part of this skills training. Now, I'll just reiterate in the context of Odisha. The Odisha state government has a scheme called Sudaksha. Now, in that Sudaksha scheme, if a girl student comes for a ITI training or for a polytechnic training, the complete tuition fees, their hostels, their stay, everything is being sponsored by government of Odisha. So that is how we have increased our girls' enrollment in the ITI polytechnics from 6% now to 35%, and we are planning to have 50% share by 2036. So I think this is a very welcoming step by government of Odisha, and I'm sure that other state governments must have been taking steps for this also, because we cannot ignore half of our population. So why I have kept it categorically here is, when we say continuous learning, the continuous learning also applies to this half of the population of our country. In this, there is a stereotype. Like when we pursue a girl for a skill training, the first choice the girl will opt as a saving technology or a computer based something. But here we are now trying to break this stereotype. So the initial stereotype was they were concentrating on the traditionally female dominated trades, like I told now. Then uh, there is a vulnerability of automation. There is a skill to sector misalignment. So all those things were existing, but now the future ready roles demand artificial intelligence and drone operations, advanced manufacturing and mechatronics skills, and green energy and EV maintenance. So we are now shifting women into industry 4.0 roles, and we are fixing the workforce misalignment and capture high yield economic opportunities. So I'll give an example on this perspective. In one of our ITAs in Odisha, one Strata Advanced System came for an interview, or a campus interview. Now they categorically selected many boy students, but our state government insisted that you should take girls also. So they took few girls along with the boys. But subsequently, when they came back for the next year, they only took girl students. So when we asked the reason, they said that girls are more focused in the shop floor as compared to boys, and we have decided that we'll have more number of girls employees as boys. So this is a very welcoming step by the Tata Advanced Systems. So similarly, many other companies also are accepting this, and this time last 2 years you'll be astonished to know that the India skills champion in welding trade is a girl. So welding, which is predominantly a boy oriented skill, now that has been taken by girls. So that is how we should not have a fixed mind. We should it should be equal for both the genders. So the learning should be equal for both the genders. So here we need to have a targeted enhancement to expand the outcomes for the women and align the workforce capability with the evolving labor market needs. So as I have said that uh, we have to break this stereotype. We have to have some schemes in place, which I'm sure many governments are having now. And as a stakeholder of this ecosystem, it is our responsibility to drive the girl child to the skills training institute of her choice and make her empowered so that she can earn the livelihood for herself and for the family also. So that is how we can empower the youth of the girl youth of our country. So this is the infinite loop in which we fall actually, the non-traditional livelihood things. So early exposure, first we need to find out in which particular skill the girl is interested or is having an aptitude. Then we have to have a targeted skill acquisition, maybe in green energy, ICT, or in EV, or any other industry 4.0. It depends on the aptitude of the girl. Then we have to find out a market placement, and if somebody wants to be entrepreneur also, he or she can be entrepreneur. And we have to track the post placement for mentorship and upskilling. So this is a very important aspect. We need to upskill the students at every step of of his or her life. So we need to have some systems in place, and in fact there are many systems in place, and the most effective systems, as I have already said, is a digital platform. If the girl or the boy is having curiosity, he will find out a way to find out where he or she will search the content to upskill. So there are also many sites now, many portals now, which offers the experiential learning platforms using AR VR models also. So which is more uh, ready for the learners to grasp and understand. So as I've already said, empowerment is not a linear path. The sustaining woman in a non-traditional trajectory definitely requires a continuous lifelong support and upskilling approach. So as a stakeholder of this ecosystem, we need to have a system in place where this thing happens in a regular manner so that no girl child is left behind. So till now, I was discussing about the industries, the job market, the employment opportunities, all this. So another aspect is being an entrepreneur. So we'll be happy to know that uh, India is now the third largest startup ecosystems globally. Here we are having 120 plus unicorns with combined valuation which is exceeding 350 billions. Unicorns means those companies which are listed in the stock markets. And nearly 50% of the startups are emerging from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So this is a very encouraging statistics uh, that I'm sharing with you, that now the youth of India are thinking not only to be a job seeker but to be a job creator. So this is a very welcoming step uh, from the country's perspective, which we also as a stakeholder should encourage. But before doing this, we need to have some inputs to these students who are into this. First thing is they need to have a very entrepreneurial mindset, because the entrepreneurial mindset is a very different mindset where people have to be very calculative, have to be very you can say agile, and uh, search every information related to the domain, and analyze those informations, and also then they need to be very proficient in the domain in which they want to have the startup. So these three things, as educators, as stakeholders, we need to ensure from the students who are venturing into this uh, startup ecosystem. But definitely it is a very welcoming step, and as the stakeholders we should promote students for becoming job creators rather than job seekers. And again, this is linked to continuous learning, because whenever somebody enters into an ecosystem, it is not a static ecosystem, it is a dynamic ecosystem. So we need to be dynamic to keep ourselves in the race, because we are not the alone player in the race, we are one of the players. So to remain relevant, we need to learn, and we need to unlearn also some things. So this is my last slide. Uh, so this is a quote by Alvin Toffler. He said that the illiterate of 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. So this is actually the mantra of our journey to 2047, Vikasit Bharat of 2047. So Jai Hind. So with this, I conclude my session. So now I'm open to any interaction. If anybody want to interact, I'm open for that. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. So on behalf of World Skill Center, I invite one and all to visit this esteemed institute. This is a very advanced skill institute where we conduct courses like uh, air conditioning refrigeration, like mechatronics, like mechanical and electrical services, advanced electrical technology. So, which courses are the courses are aligned to the industry requirements, and all are 1 year courses. So, please do visit to Virtual Center when you are visiting Bhubaneswar. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Das, for truly and very illuminating and enlightening presentation of yours, sharing your words of wisdom with each one of us on this very auspicious occasion of the World Youth Skills Day today. Presentation has made, there are many, takeaways from the session, very astonishing facts that you have shared with us. And the most inspiring part of it, I think, many of us would agree that not many would have been knowing that 65% of our Indian population is under the age of 35. And this figure of 29.8, we have really felt so very, happy to, mean, so very pleased enough to know that such a young country we have been knowing, but your thoughts being so wonderfully being supplemented, with the statistics. 29.8 is a median age, for an Indian, which is, I believe, this is something which makes us feel so very young enough on this the day, which is such a special day. We are marking the World Youth Skills Day, and to know that how young we are, it's a very different perspective that you have brought in, and a very marvelous, I must say, it was truly a marvelous presentation of yours, highlighting the work which is being done across the country and making us as one of the forefront runners when we think about, as you have mentioned in your concluding slides, that the third largest global country, which is contributing so immensely on the startup ecosystems. And yes, indeed, so much of work which is being putting in, and we are so very happy, firstly, that World Skills Center is a very esteemed member institution, and most importantly, that we are able to sensitize, our professionals across the young students and also the decision makers, the policy makers who are being there even in any kind of an institution, when we think about connecting them, on this very special day and making them aware. And one of the highlights is about its internship schemes. I believe internship schemes, not many would be, especially, reaching to the last mile. How many of us are really making an attempt, to reach out to the students, or even in our own colleges and institutions, making them, or even to have a special cells. We do have the cells now for the skilling being available, but also to think about this integration of the industry. And you have mentioned about, this, having the this equity, the gender equity also, which plays a very, very important role. So having an inclusivity to set in when we think about empowering and making them ready, the future skill sets to impart them. It has been truly and highly exceptionally, brilliant presentation of yours. We look forward, Dr. Das, to would be very happy, and we would be really pleased enough that if WSC can, can give us an opportunity to do something across for the institutions to create as a platform, because you have got an enormous experience. You are the one, who is holding, and that to, setting in the great global examples that you are setting it at WSC. We would really be happy enough if some special initiative can be taken up by WSC, and DELNET will be very, very happy to, collaborate on that. And we can have many other stakeholders to come in, especially among the institutions, the academic institutions, wherein we have the colleges that we have in the country, universities we have, and then to see to it how we can really make a difference and helping, our younger students to get into the world of skilling and making them future ready. You have very aptly pointed it out, the major threats which are coming in, for the AI, that whether the jobs, which are being there, and this has been reflected in a very recent article also, that, the Microsoft has recently published even that what are the top 30, jobs which are vulnerable, but at the same time also the jobs, which will stay on, and especially the jobs like a plumber, that will stay on, because whatever robotics we think about still. So what we would be very, very happy indeed, if we can, as a follow-up of our, very so consistently we have been doing, and we feel truly honored that World Skills Center is giving us still a chance, to collaborate in celebrating the World Youth Skills Day. And as a true, follow-up to the programs, we would be really happy to have some kind of a program to be launched, as a campaign to be launched, to sensitize and bring many more with us. And the work that you are being undertaking at WSC, and also on this entire landscape of the skilling and reskilling, it is truly much admirable and praiseworthy. And we cannot really express how gratifying it is for us to have into this collaboration. Truly, truly honored enough, sir. And we will be really happy to start off. We had been thinking about it for long, to develop a very special portal, but yes, a unification. Your presentation also truly highlighted, many of these learning portals which are being there, and especially in a country like India, the multilingual country. And but we can have the association of many other organizations and industry, and you are the one who holds the great expertise and experience in this. And I think it would be really would truly be very transformative if we can bring it down more to the colleges and universities and others, and across the length and breadth of the country. WSC can do that. We are there, sir, with you in such a pioneering work, and we remain truly, truly grateful. In spite of, it speaks volumes of your high level of your commitment, I must say, sir, that in spite of having a sore throat, I felt like, telling it to you, but I couldn't dare to, because it was so interesting. I felt like, requesting you that we can have a more, a shorter version, but I could, because it was so much, we were being so much engrossed with your presentation. Truly much grateful, sir, for sparing time with us and being there. It has the best way, could never have been the more better way to celebrate. So the celebrations in the air, we know that at WSC you are fully being engrossed, but you have also made everyone to celebrate your presence here, to celebrate this very special day, and also to take a resolve to make a difference, in the lives of our youngsters, to sensitize them, to inspire them, to tell them, and also to make them aware about many of these schemes which are being available. But yes, to help them out, and making the society a more well-informed. Much grateful, much thanks to you, sir, once again. And just quickly, because we are towards, I know that you have many commitments for today, and this is to inform all our colleagues who are being here on this online platform today. Because of paucity of time, we would appreciate if you may kindly, because we are towards, in fact, the closure, and Dr. Das has many commitments today, and that's how the session also has got, we had to prepone the session today. Just a few questions that we may like to take it, and I will request for your understanding, on this, especially for today. You can always write to WST, you can write to us. We'll be very, very happy to forward your questions, make a digest of it, and sending it across to Dr. Das. And also to inform you that the entire presentation will be available, sir. We would like to have your consent on this. We would like to make the entire deliberation, sir, available on the YouTube channel that we may like to do. And we will be informing also the attendees so that they can use it and can let others, everyone get, empowered with your such a wonderful, presentation of yours.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam, for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So just a very quickly, some 2-3 questions, that you may like to ask. We will just quickly making the floor open for questions. You may just kindly, I'm just firstly lowering the hands of everyone and requesting you that firstly lowering the hands of everyone, requesting you please kindly raise your hand if you may like to ask any question. Requesting you please raise your digital hand if you may like to any questions, and we will be happy to give you a connect. We have Mr. Abid Ali Khan. Abid, allow me a time. I'm just passing you, requesting you to unmute yourself. This is for you, Mr. Abid Ali Khan. Abid, you had raised your digital hand, requesting you please unmute yourself and ask the question.
Thank you very much, madam. Namaskar and good afternoon, Dr. Das, as well as you, madam. So first of all, happy World Youth Skill Day. My name is Abid Ali. I'm having a 4 decade of experience, both in industry and academia, both in India and abroad. In the last 6 years, I was working in the Government of India project RUSA at Utkal University pertaining to skill development and capacity building. And to give a contribution to the ecosystem, first of all, I'm very much thankful to the government for taking such initiative, especially pertaining to the skill development and capacity building and bridging the skill gap, both for the Polytechnic as well as for the ITI. My only concern is that, madam, it's a sharing to the ecosystem so that it will be more vibrant and it will be more helpful to all the future generation leaders. Because I have been in touch with 350 colleges across this Orissa, and I have been in touch with 17,000 students. But what I feel personally, creating skill development awareness program, both in the school and colleges at the university, is highly essential. There should be one session, because personally I'm a trainer, corporate trainers. I go to visit different corporates, industry also. When I visit few of the colleges, university, as well as, people don't know why skill is so important. What is the importance of it? Because it has been confined to only to Polytechnic as well as IT. And most of the universities are providing non-technical university. They don't know the emerging technology. They don't know the 21st century skill. So if we are going to create a vibrant ecosystem in the entire country so that the percentage will be tenfold, and there should be a competent person who can able to divulge this kind of thoughts, injecting to the future generation at the school level only. So it's my sincere request to Authority, World Skill Center and DELNET, please take care of sensitizing this program at least once in a week, because I'm in touch with so many students. I know the problem of Orissa, and C-related problem is a major chronic problem, like communication, confidence, counseling, career, charismatic leadership quality, and creativity. So my humble and sincere request, if you want to create a vibrant ecosystem, I'm always there to help you, connect you, and let's have a collaborative approach, not a competitive approach. Thank you very much. Dhanyavad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. Thank you so much. And this is just, it strongly echoes with what I have been requesting to Dr. Das, that DELNET and WSA, many other stakeholders may like to join hands. And let's collectively and cohesively work together to transform, bring in a change. And we have already made a beginning. We have already made a beginning today by having such a wonderfully, delivered talk and the new beginnings that we have made. And certainly, Mr. Khan, we truly appreciate your inputs. And we assure you that in the months to come, you would be able to, witness that, yes, some partnership to come in between DELNET and WSC, and we would be very happy to, seek your advice also, and of many others, across the country.
Thank you
Would
very
you
much,
like?
madam. Thank you, both of you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ruchika. Thank you. I would like to now quickly go to Mr. Chandrakant Ghadge. Mr. Chandrakant, you have raised your digital hand, requesting you please unmute yourself, and you're welcome to ask your question.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am.
Very good afternoon.
Ma'am, women's students के लिए future opportunities in job role, welding skills center and welding sector company industries. Please define me.
For the welding industry.
Yes,
And
yes, ma'am.
just introduce yourself, from which state you belong to.
Okay. I am Chandrakant, ma'am, and senior technical tutor, IIT Kausal College, Dhar district, Madhya Pradesh state. As a
Sure, thank you. From Dhar, from MP, yes.
Yes,
This is what Chandrakant ji we have been thinking about. Means across the country to create this entire, sensitization program, and wherein all our other colleagues, those who are like tutors like yours, who are being there, can get engaged. Requesting Dr. Das, to kindly, sir, would you like to, especially
Yeah. Actually, Mr. Chandrakant, I would
Yes,
like
sir.
to take this opportunity to communicate that in World Skill Center also we are having a center of excellence in welding.
Yes,
So where we train both the students as well as the trainers. In
yes,
fact, we are now training the employees of East Coast Railway who are already on the job in the high-end machines. So,
yes,
this is a step that we have already taken, and in some of our ITs also in Government of Odisha, we have introduced the advanced welding modules as center of excellences. So, realizing the fact that the welding technology is very agile and is very evolving every day. So we are now modifying our labs in the ITAs also, and here we are also having. So if we can take this opportunity, we can also conduct the courses for you. But
yes.
nevertheless, it cannot happen online. It has to be a physical course.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Katke. And we assure you that in the days to come, we would certainly be wanting to. Other important aspect, Dr. Das, since we just quickly would like to ask this question, and this is, in connection with the question being asked by Mr. Chandrakant, how really to build up? Because infrastructure development is a very major issue when we think about scaling. As you have said, because it's not just simply online to see, unless and until experiential, they have to really do it, they have to, unless and until they do, they cannot learn. How far, when we think about, this skilling and the reskilling and these initiatives which are being done, the infrastructure development, because country is so big enough, and the collective ways, it's more like a collective infrastructure development in the states, in the districts, wherein at least the students have got an opportunity to really learn through their doing. So how far, Dr. Das, what is your viewpoint on this, and how really to tackle this issue, and how far
Madam,
as a country we have done?
Madam, actually, this is a continuous process. Developing the infrastructure is a continuous process, but at the same time, there is a limitation to every physical infrastructure. So that's why in some part of my presentation, I had mentioned about a phygital system. What is a physical? It's a combination of both physical as well as digital systems. Now I'll give an example of same welding in training. So what we are doing here is, uh, suppose it's a 2 weeks training. 1 week we train on the simulators, which can happen online, and the rest 1 month, 1 week, and they come here and they can work on the actual physical system. So we have to have a mechanism in which we combine the advantages of physical systems as well as the digital systems in the same domain, so that the student first experience it on the digital domain by using simulators, and then can do it actually on the shop floor. To add to this, actually, day before yesterday, actually, we have inaugurated our special AI lab. A spatial AI is basically a domain where the trainers are going to develop AR, VR, and XR simulation models for different systems. So that will again augment to the process of digital learning, and it will be more experiential for the students to learn. But again, that is on the very nascent stage, and we are in the process of building the capacity of our own trainers to develop such systems. And going forward also, we may collaborate with DELNET to post all these contents on the DELNET, so that it is open to a wider public for use. But it's a policy matter that has to be taken by government of Odisha, and it's a huge investment that the government of Odisha has done for this.
Thank you very much, Dr. Das, because this AR/VR is something which has got a strong potential to bring in, especially for the skilling when we think about. And even DELNET as an organization is, we are being very much what to contribute in this direction. So we'll be very happy if we are able to explore some possibilities to join hands together and work in this, especially when we think about even to have the skill labs. If we can develop the skill labs in our colleges, because we are at one side, we have these young students who are undergoing, let's say they are pursuing their BTech, in EC or electrical or in communication or in IT. If we can have a skill labs, which becomes an integrated part of it. So, it becomes more like, the test beds for them. And we can bring in also a couple of other things, and even at a school level to bring it. Say, one can think about doing it and making it available to the states to join, or even to take it up, with the state education departments to see to it can we bring. And especially for skill empowerment, the Ministry of Skills, if we can have some special incentives to undertake, some kind of a pilot work, some pilot studies to be done in the states, and we can invite, the institutions, to come forward. So this has really inspired, as we can see that, your such a lucid, wonderful presentation has inspired everyone, to really gear up and to contribute in some very meaningful, constructive manner. Thank you so much, Dr. Das, for making this truly, we are being enthused with so much of excitement now, to start contributing and doing something locally and having the global agendas, but yes, locally, to bring in some change. This is the last question very quickly, because we are really standing between Dr. Das and his huge engagements that he has. It's just at the starting of the day, we had, captured him to be here with us on this online platform. So last question only that we are taking right now. And this is from Jyoti Prakash Behra. Jyoti Prakash, may I request you, please unmute yourself and ask the question. This is for you, Jyoti Prakash Behra. Jyoti Prakash, may I request you, please unmute yourself. Yes, Mr. Jyoti Prakash Behra. It seems that you're not able to. I'm simply being compelled to mute you now from here. So it seems that we are on the closure of the session. Thank you so much, Dr. Das, once again for such a wonderful deliberations and also such a wonderful engagements that we have. May I have a pleasure of presenting? This is for you with a great sense of gratitude.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you so much.
Thanks for delivering such a truly an illuminating presentation. And
my pleasure.
I'm going to be really happy that the next time when we connect, we will be very happy this goes into the background, and we will be
yes.
And this is a great sense of gratitude to you. It has been truly a wonderful pleasure having you, and we will really be happy to initiate some new programs between WSC and DELNET, and to make it available to the institutions, and to have the people to get connected and bring in some changes, some dramatic changes, some and this will also help us in many of the gap areas to get addressed, because we'll be able to see also the region wise there are complexities happening, and also the content development, the digital content development. DELNET will be very, very happy to in some ways to contribute in that direction. But yes, indeed, this has been the one of the best of the ways that we could have ever thought of celebrating the World's Youth Skills Day. And yes, we all are feeling so much energized, with your wonderful presentation here today. And we wish you, sir, and also the entire WSC team, once again, World Youth Skills Day celebrations. And we really look forward to our continued collaborations, also to keep on organizing many more sensitization programs. And we are indeed, sir, much honored with your presence today. Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you, sir.
Once again, for your time. In spite of being so busy, you have been able to do, and we are indeed much grateful and obliged to you, sir. We are also very much, would be happy to further take the questions later. You can write to us, and we'll be happy to further address them through WSE. This is to acknowledge and also to appreciate the presence of each one of our attendees who have been able to join in large numbers, big numbers across. And we look forward to having you back in the future webinar sessions. This is also to quickly mention, as being mentioned, the entire deliberations of today's wonderful presentation would be made available by tomorrow at DELNET's YouTube channel of WebView. The certificate of participation will reach your inbox by 1 o'clock sharp, so that you can check it. And we look forward to having you back again in the upcoming webinar on 31st of July. Those of you who have not registered, you may kindly do. The links are available on our website. And we have truly appreciated your being here. So once again, wishing everyone truly an empowering and an inspiring, and we are already feeling so, and that's all because of Dr. Das, a wonderful, Youth Skills Day. Let's keep on contributing. Let's keep on, doing our best of the deeds, to in most meaningful manner to make the society more well-informed, more ready for the future. And I think we have a greater responsibility with us. So once we are together, once we march together, once we contribute together, the journey becomes much more beautiful and much more empowering. Thank you very much, one and all. Thank you very much, Dr. Das. And we look forward to having you here at Delhi. Sometime would be truly a pleasure to see you at DELNET. And we would be very happy to collaborate, but we are glad that we have made very special new beginnings today. Much grateful, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Das. Thank you so much. And my very special thanks also to my own colleagues, Kushal and Ranjana, for coordinating the DELNET webinar session. Thank you very much. Thank you, one and all. Stay happy, stay blessed, stay connected, and also, most importantly, stay informed, stay empowered, and keep on contributing. Thank you very much. With this, we sign off today. Looking forward to having you back again. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thanks.